Alright, we're on the first Nitro. Hopefully, this goes alright. Let's get into it. We've got 3 shows this episode. We've got 2 Nitros, and we got Sold Out, the pay-per-view. Let's fix WCW. So, we're starting off with commentary. And the reason why is because Eric Bischoff is off until April. So I can't use him as an on-screen role. If I could, I would have said WCW isn't going the way we want. We're resetting everything. Screw you all. Not exactly what I would say, but you know what? It's fine. So we're just going to try to continue on with storylines and try to change it up as much as we can without having to affect anything directly. So the commentary opens the show, and they say that Bret Hart has officially ended his career due to an injury suffered at Starrcade. He has vacated the World Heavyweight Championship. A tournament will be held for this new title, and we've got matches for the tournament tonight. We've got 2 matches, one of which is Chris Benoit versus Dean Malenko, and the other is Sid Vicious versus someone. We're going to find out in tonight's main event. As also, Scott Hall is also out injured as a part of... that's why he had to vacate the tag titles with Kevin Nash. So, yeah, that is a problem, but that's fine. Scott Hall is out. And I realized that the tournament for the tag titles was supposed to end tonight. So they already had the tournament in storyline in the world. So we're just going to continue that. The tournament finals in real life was David Flair and Crowbar versus Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash. And David Flair is out. So tonight Crowbar is going to announce a replacement for David Flair as they face off against Nash and Scott Steiner for the World Tag Team Championships. And I don't know if I actually put the titles on the line, so let me go check that real quick. It appears that I had. But anyway, we're going to get into the show. So we're starting off with Jeff Jarrett cutting a promo, and NWO 2000 is officially disbanded as well. So Jeff Jarrett cuts a promo. He says, NWO 2000 is no more, but I'm still pissed off. I'm the United States Heavyweight Champion of the world. I'm the only champion this company has. And I'm not inserted in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament? This is bullshit. I'm the best. I'm the chosen one. I'm the best in WCW history. And Randy Savage comes out. We haven't seen Savage in a while here. And he makes his return tonight. And he points at Jeff Jarrett, and then he points at the U.S. Championship. And then he says, real simply, you and me at Sold Out. And that's it, 67. We're starting the show with Dustin Rhodes getting a win over Steven Regal in 6:56 with that curtain call. Pretty decent match right here, 68. And we continue on. Steven Regal beats down Dustin Rhodes, and out comes Curt Hennig to make the save. This is to debut a new tag team, Curt Hennig and Dustin Rhodes, because we need teams. We need babyface tag teams. So Dustin and Hennig are here. This gets a 45. We're backstage. Jeremy Borash interviews Booker T. He is in the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Chris Champagne Canyon interrupts Booker T's interview because Canyon is facing Booker T in this tournament. And he says, Booker, you're shit. And Booker says, no, you're shit. They don't actually say that because we're on TV. But these two are facing off next week in the tournament. And they have a little back and forth here. So 50. We got a triple threat. This triple threat, the winner of this triple threat faces the winner of next week's triple threat at Sold Out for the vacant Cruiserweight Championship. So Billy Kidman gets the win here. And he gets a 65, so not too bad. So who is he going to be facing? We're going to find that out next week or next show. Crowbar cuts a backstage promo. You know, who is he going to be teaming with? We don't know. But he has found a replacement. So this gets a 42. Backstage, Chris Kanyon attacks Booker T, beats him down, and we're building to next week's match, 39. Before their match, Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko, they have a little handshake as they get ready to have their tournament match. And a 72, Chris Benoit gets the win with the sharpshooter, paying homage to Bret Hart, and Chris Benoit advances in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. So 72 right here. Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner cut a backstage promo. It doesn't matter who Crowbar finds. Nash and Steiner are walking out victorious with the World Tag Team Championships on their shoulders. DDP cuts a backstage promo. He's facing off against Bam Bam Bigelow next week in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, and he promises to get the victory, and you can feel the bang. World Tag Titles on the line, and Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash get the win when Scott Steiner submitted Crowbar with the Steiner recliner. Vampiro came out to help Crowbar, but unfortunately was not able to help him win the tag title. So 58. It's unfortunate. Afterwards, Vampiro beats down Crowbar. He's pissed off, so we got a double turn here. Crowbar turns face, Vampiro turns heel. I'm going to have to set that. I forgot to set it, but that's fine. This gets a 38. Sid Vicious gets a promo. He says it doesn't matter who faces him in the main event. He is the ruler of the world, so 39. And out comes Eddie Guerrero, gets the win over Sid Vicious, hits him with that frog splash, and advances in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. So this gets a 64. And Sid Vicious afterwards is embarrassed. He grabs a microphone. He says, "I quit." And Sid Vicious is gone from WCW. Gets a 70. I'll take it, although we did fall in probably the southeast region. Okay, Crowbar can work through it. That's fine. And popularity, yeah, southeast. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. We were already pretty popular in the southeast. So that was the first Nitro. We've still got another Nitro, and then we got Sold Out. So I'll be right back with the next episode of Nitro in just one moment. Alright, second Nitro. Go Home Show 2 Sold Out. We're starting off with Randy Savage cutting a promo, and Jeff Jarrett jumps him, hits him with a guitar in the back, and it's going to be Savage versus Jarrett for the United States Championship at Sold Out. Open the show, DDP takes on Bam Bam Bigelow, and he defeats him, which means DDP advances in the tournament, and he will acknowledge his opponent later tonight. We got Jeremy Borash interviewing Champagne Chris Kanyon. He is facing Booker T. The winner will face Chris Benoit, I believe it is. Yeah, Chris Benoit in the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament semifinals at Sold Out. Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner going to promo, and out comes the Mamalukes. And the Mamalukes are upset that they weren't included in the finals last week because they don't know how tournaments work. I don't know. They have a reason. They come out. They're upset at Nash and Steiner for holding, the tag titles when it should be the Mamalukes, blah, 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 blah. We're having a tag title match. That's Sold Out. I don't have a reason right now because I don't have enough tag teams to fill. So, in the meantime, we're getting the Mamalukes. Kurt Hennig gets a good match right here against Steven Regal. And you know the talent of both these guys. This is no surprise. Hennig wins with the Hennigplex. Gets a 76. And Hennig and Dustin are officially a tag team as well. I think they're the Perfect Roads, if I remember correctly. We got a backstage segment. Or not a backstage. Vampiro promo vignette. He talks about Crowbar. And, so it's going to be Crowbar versus Vampiro at Sold Out. So 52. Alright, Shane Douglas and Perry Saturn going to promo. And they're upset that they're not being used to their full potential in WCW. And out comes Buff Bagwell. And Buff Bagwell, you know what, he talks about them not being deserving, and Buff Bagwell is actually the stuff, so, pay respects to Buff. He is the stuff. And he is enough. So, at Sold Out, we're going to see a triple threat match. Shane Douglas, Perry Saturn, and Buff Bagwell. So, 56. Triple threat match, Cruiserweight Championship, number one contender, or other match. Rey Mysterio gets a win over Lash LaRue and Evan Courageous. And a 65, Rey Mysterio will be facing Billy Kidman, his tag team partner from the Filthy Animals, for the Cruiserweight Championship at Sold Out. Booker T is interviewed by Jeremy Borash. He faces Champagne Chris Kanyon in the tournament tonight. And let's see what's going to happen. DDP comes back out, cuts a promo, and out comes Eddie Guerrero. These two are facing off at Sold Out in the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. And then finally, Booker T in the main event gets the win over Chris Kanyon with the scissors kick and advances in the tournament. So 66. It's unfortunate. I think the mod kind of undervalues the skill of Booker T and other talent in WCW. I think that the mod has some quirks and some problems, but you know what? We're just going to ignore it, and we're just going to try to book the best story we can. All right, that was it for Nitro. We've got Sold Out in just one moment, so I'll be right back with the pay-per-view in just one moment. All right, let's get into Sold Out 2000 Rebooked. Commentary opens the show. They run down the card, and we're starting off with the first match in the World Heavyweight Title Tournament: Booker T versus Chris Benoit. And Booker T gets the win over Chris Benoit with that scissors kick in 16-14. Booker T advances to the finals, which will be held in tonight's main event. And he will be facing none other than Eddie Guerrero, who gets a quick roll-up on Diamond Dallas Page. So Eddie versus Booker in the main event. Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner suffering a broken arm, as if this couldn't get any better. And we get we continue with Steiner and Nash as the World Tag Team Champions. Mamalukes couldn't get it done. Vampiro gets a win over Crowbar in 10-15. This actually did alright, 60, and Vampiro gets the win. We got the triple threat next. Buff Bagwell defeats Perry Saturn with the Buff Blockbuster in 66, and while Buff Bagwell celebrates, Lance Storm makes his WCW debut and attacks Buff Bagwell. So gets a 45. U.S. title on the line. Jeff Jarrett defeats Randy Savage 15-19 with the stroke after interference from Lex Luger. Afterwards, we got a beatdown. Lex Luger and Jeff Jarrett beat down Randy Savage, but Sting makes his return and makes the save. So 75, and then we got our main event. In a 74, Booker T successfully defeats Eddie Guerrero in 1602 with a scissors kick, and we get a new World Heavyweight Champion in Booker T. We end the show with a 71. We will take that. Tell good job to Booker. Tell good job to Jarrett. And who else did a good job? I mean, DDP. Oh, I forgot to do the Cruiserweight title match, didn't I? That is very WCW of me. On 46 days for Scott Steiner. That's fine. I'll do the Cruiserweight title match on. I'll do the Cruiserweight title match on Nitro. Oops. I'll just pretend that was the plan the whole time. It's gonna be Rey Mysterio versus Billy Kidman on Nitro. Yeah. God, I would not be able to save WCW now, would I? Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm doing better than Russo. I only forgot one match. So Perry Saturn is gone. Eddie Guerrero's gone. Dean's gone. Benoit's gone. And yeah, it's unfortunate that Scott Steiner suffered a broken arm, because that's going to halt our plans severely. Sabu. ECW rejection. He doesn't want to re-sign with ECW. I could do something with Sabu. I can do something with Sabu. Let's sign Sabu. I'll figure something out for him. I don't have plans for him, but I'll figure something. And that's really unfortunate for Scott Steiner. He can still be on TV, though. He just can't wrestle. I can have him just be on TV and still hold the tag titles while I rebuild the tag team division. I can figure out something. I'll find something. Anyway, that's going to do it for the first episode of WCW. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one. GCW is going to have an episode coming out very soon. Probably had one come out before this WCW, actually. I'm probably going to do one to... I'm recording this on the same day that I'm recording the day 0 of WCW. So I'm basically recording 2 episodes back to back. I'm probably going to record a GCW after this, and that's going to come out on May 28th. So this one would probably come out on May 29th. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.